Last time, ErgZone was the clear winner, but over the past few months, ErgData has put in some serious training. I'm comparing these two apps because they are the most commonly discussed in forums, etc. But they're just two of the logging style apps out there. Check out Crew, Float, and Rodeo to mention just a few alternatives. And if you're looking for something a bit more like Zwift for rowing, check out ErgZone, IC Row, and Immerse U Row. Or if you've got a VR headset, take a look at Holofit. Right then, who would win in a showdown this time? ErgZone hasn't been basking in the glory of its superiority. Tyus and Gabriel have both been developing features to help rowers get the workouts they want. However, some of these features are only available to those with a subscription, around about $5 a month. So I'm not going to include them when comparing ErgZone to ErgData. No power-ups, just free versus free. Check out erg.zone or their Facebook page for full details of what this subscription gives you. This time round, I want to go a bit deeper into how to use both of the apps. I'll most likely miss a few functions, and just by the nature of how apps develop, this will probably be out of date very soon. I'm going to use the iOS versions of their apps, but the Android alternatives are pretty much identical. You're going to need a Concept2 logbook account to log into both of these apps. If you don't already have one, go to log.concept2.com to register. Remember to pick a team and affiliation while you're there. You can leave it blank, but why not pick RowAlong? Hard sell. Then keep an eye on the challenge calendar for a bit of added motivation through the year. So, here is the free version of ErgZone. So as you first open it, you have to log into the logbook. And once you've done that, you'll have to authorize the use of ErgZone. Now up at the top of the screen, you'll see a whole bunch of icons. This is people who are providing you with free workouts that you can load up. And on the right hand side of that, you'll find the edit button where you can add more people or remove if you wish. Now down at the bottom of this, you'll see discover more groups. So if you click on that, it takes you to a page where you can then scroll through various communities and things that are on offer to you. Now, if you know what you're looking for in the first place, then under the little search bit, type in what it is. Let's obviously go for RowAlong, search, and then you can find the RowAlong community, which is the thing that you need a subscription for, or the free RowAlong sessions, which is free. So let's just join the free RowAlong sessions. And then when you select that icon at the top, you can then see a whole bunch of free sessions that I've loaded in ready for you to row. This only remembers the previous 1 month worth of rows that I've loaded into here. So if you want to have more historical ones, I'm afraid you have to do the subscription thing. However, that's how you can find. So basically, you find the row you want to do. Let's go for row off beer, and then connect. Then you can see at the bottom, it says scan for PM5. Click on that, turn on your monitor, and then go to the connect, which is the third button down. And it will then instantly see your PM5. Click on connect, and then it effortlessly just sends this session to the monitor. In this case, it's 4-minute intervals at 28 strokes a minute with 3 minutes rest in between, which if you do enough of them, you'll burn off a whole bunch of beer, which is why I called it row off beer. So that's how you can load up a row provided by somebody else. Just pick that icon from the top and load in what you want. Now, what about making your own workout? So if you go to the My Workouts tab or tile top left, you can then get to a page that contains all of the history of your own rows. So in order to make your own workout, press the plus icon top right, and then give it a title. Let's just call this 1000 meters. And then I'm just gonna do test, because it's just a test. And then you go new interval, and then you tell what it is you want to do. So we're going to row a distance of 1000 meters. So I've got that in there. Strokes per minute. Well, we're going to do this at 28 strokes a minute. So this will give you like a plus or minus within those strokes a minute. So you set it to 28, and it'll tell you if you're going too fast or too slow for your strokes per minute. Rest time, well, it's only a single interval we're doing, but if we're doing several intervals, that's where you add that in. And then intensity is where you can say the pace you want to do at. So for it being a 1K, I'd really want this to be like 2K minus 5. So you can use the slider to go to what you want, or you can actually just type in minus 5. Okay, and once you've set the interval, the workout that you want to do so far, you can close that interval. You can see it sitting there, and I can then add more intervals if I did new interval. I can set splits for this, so I'll set it to 200 meters splits. And then once you're happy with it, you just hit save. And there it is, it appears in your database of workouts that you can do. So again, if I click on connect, because I've already connected to the PM5, it remembers that. I can switch PM5 to a different machine if I wish, but then send workout to PM5. So, right, I'll just start off and row a few meters so we can get some data on screen, and then I'll take you through what it is that we're looking at. Right, so that's possibly enough. I don't have a heart rate connected, so you're not seeing any heart rate data. But if you click on that heart, that will then cycle you through a whole bunch of different metrics that you can see. So right now, count, I just took 4 strokes. What drag factor on my machine is, how many calories I burned, what watts I was rowing at, my stroke power index, my 2K percent, or the percentage of my 2K power, which I haven't entered in my 2K data into this account yet. And then you get to the locked options, okay? So these are all ones that you have to pay your subscription for. So if you want to find out exactly what they all are and whether you think you want them, do check out erg.zone or their Facebook page. But you'll see on the rest of the screen on the left-hand side is the number of splits that you're going to do. The time is obviously time elapsed, and then meters, how much of that split you've covered, or if it's a time-based one, it'll be how much of that time you've covered, and then your pace, stroke rate, etc. So you're seeing lots and lots of data on screen for this workout, which will hopefully keep you interested. But that's what you're faced with ErgZone. It's a nice screen. However, let's move on to a different feature on ErgZone, and that's the live rows. Okay, so this changes things up a bit. Right, so let's see if anybody's doing one of my, there we go, that's perfect. So somebody is rowing my January motivation row 7 currently, and we can join them. So if I go to that row and click connect, and I make sure that live mode is checked at the bottom, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, it says live. So if I click on that, you can see that someone is rowing this session right now, and I've just popped up below them. So I can start rowing, and then we can compare data to each other. Now, obviously the point here is it's best done if we both start this session at the same time, but this reveals what's different about ErgZone's live row option. Is that it's not about having a set time and making sure that everyone starts like within the fraction of a second. Someone can select this live row and they can start rowing, and then I can be 5 minutes late and kind of join in, yet we're still kind of having that social thing going on here. However, you do need to rely on that workout being one of the free offerings from the tiles above. You can't just create your own workout and then invite people to join you. That's something which hopefully will come in time from ErgZone. Once you've finished any of your rows, you can take a screenshot to upload to social media. And just a word for those that row the Concept2 Cross-Team Challenge at c2ctc.com. If you add that track to your account and then you row the challenge using the ErgZone app, when you're finished, you can upload your result directly to the c2ctc.com website. This may not sound that revolutionary, but there are some quirks with iPhone and iPad connectivity to the CTC website, which this will overcome. So, to summarize ErgZone, simplifying how to program the PM5, access to a database of your history of rows, and free sessions created by coaches and other communities, plus the social live rowing option, makes even the free version of this app something that takes a lot of beating. Which brings me to ErgData. Now, a lot of people loved the old version of ErgData. Much like the PM5 itself, it was simple, robust, and rarely let users down. But I wasn't the only one looking for a little bit more. The lack of ability to program the monitor from within the app, the lack of an instant access to a history of previous rows, and the missing community aspect was just holding it back for me and wasn't the app that I'd choose to use. But it looks like they were aware of this, as most of the features people asked for are now in this new app. And the ones that aren't in this app can be found in other apps released from Concept2. So let's take a look at the ErgData app then. Once you launch it, you'll go through the login process and then you're faced with this screen. Now the important place to go first is top right, where it says connect to a performance monitor. Tap on that, then press the third button down on your monitor, connect, and that will make it available. And then ErgData will then see your rower or skier or bike erg, and then you just have to tap on that machine that's loaded up and it should connect after a few seconds. Now it's just thrown up a little bit of a finger wag at me because I'm using an old firmware on this device. So if you want to know about how to update the firmware on your monitor, please check out the video I have here on this channel. I'm going to do it later, don't worry, I just wanted to make sure and keep it out of date to show you that. So anyway, once you're connected, you can then go back and you're faced with the screen of options in front of you. Down at the bottom, you've got the Just Row option. If you just click on that, it will just send a Just Row trigger to your monitor and you can do what you want. Or you have the options in the main chunk of the screen for a single distance, single time, single calorie, constant intervals, and variable intervals. So we'll just pick single distance, and then you can set what distance you want to do. Let's go for 1,000 meters for the time being. Show pacer, so we can set a pacer here, and we'll go for 2 minutes pace. It's target stroke rate. Set the target stroke rate to 20. Now I don't have my heart rate monitor connected. It would show up here if I did, I promise, but that's why we're not setting a target heart rate zone. And then top right hand corner, you can do ready. But before I click ready, notice the star icon next to it. That's how you save this as a favorite that will always then appear under your favorites tab. Click ready, and this is the screen that you're first faced with. And it's quite a simple first one to look at. I've got my distance to go, top left. I've got my pace on the right hand side, strokes per minute, average pace, and meters covered. So it's a very simple look. However, if I start to swipe to the side, I get a bit more detail. So this time it's included a percentage of my heart rate and watts. Go again, I've got even more data. This time I've got calories an hour, projected finish, the drag factor I'm rowing at, average watts. So there's even more data in this screen. And then the workout graph, I'll have to start rowing to show you this one. Hang on. Let's get going. This now gives me a graph of my pace. Okay, so you can see it's climbing up into that average. There you go, because I'm gunning it a bit too fast right now, so I've gone past my 2 minutes. So from a pace point of view, what I really want to do if I want to hold 2 minute pace is keep that black line constant. Obviously slow down a little bit. It's quite triggery in terms of how high and how low it goes on just a second out, but okay, so let's swipe again. And this just gives you a bit, almost closer to the ErgZone table, where you get the columns of info, but then you've got all of that extra metric information down the left-hand side too. And then we'll go again. And this is the pacer. So, even with all this swiping action, I'm only 5 meters behind the pace guide. So if I speed up a little bit more to try and catch the pacer, let's see, there we go. So there you go, so I'm in line. But then you can see bottom left for my stroke rate, when I go over it, currently doing 23 strokes a minute, 22, it's red. So I'll try and slow down my stroke rate. And now it's happier. That could probably be a bit of a bigger indicator. But there you go, so that's how the various screens on ErgData show you your metrics, etc. So I'm not going to complete that row, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the results of a row I did yesterday, just so you can see what you get. So down at the bottom you can see logbook. So if I click on logbook, it then shows me my history of rows. Now I can keep on scrolling down. Here we go, scroll, and it's currently taking me to, what's that, the 31st of October, 26th of September. Okay, so it's just loading up. To be honest, I don't know how far back, whether this will give me access to all of my rows back to like 2013. I don't know, but I'm not going to keep on scrolling. But what's good is you can load these back up into your monitor. So if I pick, let's pick something that's 20 times 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Okay, so I've selected that on the logbook. I can then look at my results, my data from all of this. Okay, so if I'm interested in how I got on last time, I can have a quick look. And so up at the top, you'll see interval 1, and I can go to interval 2, interval 3, etc. So I can analyze what I've done before. However, I can row it again. So first thing to say is that if I really love this row and I know I'm going to keep on coming back to it, I could just hit the star icon and that will save it to my favorites. But then I just hit the little arrow icon next to it, the circular arrow, and that's it instantly loaded that old row into my monitor. And that's perfect. That really does kind of make up for exactly what ErgZone is doing with the database of your own workouts, okay? So you can just go into your logbook and just reload up one of the rows from there. Perfect. Even a row that you've done on ErgZone, because it's in your logbook, you can then load it back up into the ErgData app. Now that's a little bit of cross-programming. You've got to have to enjoy that. So, right, we're not going to do this one. I'm just going to go back to view logbook results just so that I can get back to the home screen and I can show you the favorites. So if I click on favorite, you'll see that that 1 minute on, 1 minute off that we just hit the star on is now sitting there waiting for me to come back to. So I don't have to go scrolling through the whole logbook to try and find that row again. So this is kind of all evening itself out quite nicely. If you click on the challenges tab, it's basically just telling you to learn more about the challenges at log.concept2.com, but they do say they're going to add more info in here soon. Settings is obviously explanatory. You're just going to go through a whole bunch of settings you can set yourself. I'm not going to take up video time by going through each of them. So what's missing from ErgData? Sharing and importing workouts created by other users would be great. For instance, if I, as RowAlong, entered all of the rows from my 2K plan into ErgData, users could then go to my channel and load up the workout to send to their PM5 without needing to enter it themselves. As of this video, there isn't a live row option like ErgZone, nor is there a race feature. However, they're about to release a new feature in ErgData called Real-Time Loop, allowing users to join others from around the globe on a virtual course using their row, bike or ski erg. It's in beta testing stage right now, but it's very solid and very stable, so I don't think it's going to be long before it's released. Similar to the live option in ErgZone, this is currently just about joining the loop and rowing alongside lots of other people. What's different though is that you don't have to rely on someone else setting up a workout. Just join the loop and row. You don't program in a specific workout, it's all performed as a just row. And if Concept2 were to launch a Discord channel alongside this feature, it may make the social aspect of this extremely attractive. They may be thinking about expanding what the loop does, but it's unlikely they'd build a formal race option into it. Because, for that, Concept2 have the Erg Race app, which was used extensively through lockdown to keep indoor rowing racing going, and has proved a huge success. So, I'm not considering that as part of the comparison here, but it will explain why there's no built-in race feature, even when the real-time loop goes live. So, to summarize the new ErgData, for me, it's come on huge leaps and bounds since the original version. The variety of different screens and metrics should give even the most data-hungry rowers what they want. Programming the monitor from the app is finally here, and being able to load recent rows is an excellent feature. Now, even though I went into a little bit more detail than I did last time when comparing both apps, it certainly wasn't exhaustive. So if you want to know more about all of the functions that you can get access to, I really do recommend downloading each of them and having a sniff around. So, who wins in the row-off between apps? ErgZone gives you slick access to lots of free workouts from coaches, and all the workouts you create for yourself will always be available for you to load up quickly. The live function is a great way to meet up with fellow rowers, but it's let down by the fact that right now you need to join a workout that's been created by one of the coaches or organizations. You can't just create your own workout and tell your buddies to join you at a certain time. But it's a very stable, very user-friendly app that has a huge community of users for a very good reason. The new ErgData is a night and day change from the previous version, an incredible array of screens and data to keep you interested, and the real-time loop is a perfect way to just log on and row alongside a friend. So, the inclusion of the real-time loop is like a last-minute energy gel that helps ErgData slog this one out to a draw. Both of the apps are prize fighters who bring their own skills and functions to the ring. One better than the other in some ways, the other better in other ways. But I tell you one thing, if ErgData created a way to access a database of rows from other people, I wonder if this showdown would be as close. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave your comments as to what you like or don't like about these apps. And if you use a different app and would like me to have a run through of that one, just get in touch. And do remember to check out the other videos on this channel, whether it's app reviews, technique tips, or any of the hundreds of entirely free RowAlong workouts. Until then, take care, be well, bye-bye.